Alrighty, so the JP stream has ended, and I kind of wanted to do just like another highlight video because I think these are kind of helpful, because I know a lot of you guys don't want to just kind of skim through the entire live stream, and I can kind of just give you the highlights of it so that way you can be on your way. So basically, we already knew pretty much who the character was going to be because it got leaked a little bit, but we're getting an additional character. So it is going to be a Festival Gowther, which is pretty interesting. His skills are very interesting, but he doesn't seem to be super crazy on paper. I guess we'll just kind of have to wait and see what kind of teams and stuff like that they come out with on the JP version once the actual banner drops, so that way people can get their hands on the character and everything and sort of test them out. But we did get a new Hauser, which is pretty interesting. I do have a very rough translation of the skills, just from a website that is going to translate the image text and everything like that they put out in the patch notes. So I think it gives a decent sort of look at what the skills kind of do roughly. But the new Gowther is right around here. They're going to show him off. It shows off the ultimate animation first, which I'm super excited for the fact that it's actually like the Gowther in the armor. Like, that's honestly really cool. Not exactly what I was thinking it was going to be. Like, because the chest piece is like open and everything, which I think is kind of odd. I don't remember them looking like that really in the show. Like, I figured it was either just going to be like the armored Gowther, or it was going to be I kind of thought it would be interesting if they did it sort of like King or Festival King did, where it would be like Gowther and then the armor suit behind him or something like that. I thought that would be kind of cool. But they do have his skills and everything right here. I do have another rough translation of that as well, we'll go over in just a second. But he has an attack card, a debuff card, and then his ultimate and passive, of course. So he does not have a rank up or anything like that. I know a lot of people were kind of skeptical. They wanted there to be a blue rank up Gowther, but this is not the guy. This is a green Gowther, which is very interesting. But he seems to be kind of interesting in the aspect of the gear set that they recommend is either an attack defense set or an HP defense set. Obviously, I think a lot of people probably already have an HP defense set by now for Gowther because, Red Gowther and the Halloween Gowther. But an attack defense set could be really interesting depending on how offensive the character is. So yeah, it says that Merlin and Elizabeth are going to be the link units, which is kind of interesting. Not really sure about that specifically. I don't know what kind of stats they're going to give, but here are the 3 outfits that they're going to be giving out, or not giving out, you have to buy them, but those are the 3 outfits that are coming with the character, which are kind of interesting. Not super crazy about them, but the gameplay for the character is very short. They kept it really short, but it's pretty interesting. So basically, they start off, he gets really good merges, like he automatically has level 2 cards and everything like that for Gowther. He literally just merges first thing, gets his ultimate gauge already because of the great merge and everything in the beginning, uses the card, and it puts 3 debuffs on. So I know that one of them is disables ultimate moves, and then it looks like because Margaret has a buff card, Elizabeth has a buff card, which is her shield, and then Tarmiel has a stance card, it does disable 3 cards in hand, which I'm assuming are either buffs or stances, or either buffs or debuff cards. I'm not specifically sure on that just yet. We'll try to look at it when we look at the skill translations and see if we can get a better idea on that. But then the bottom thing, the bottom one is actually something to do with deranking cards, which I think is interesting, but obviously I don't think we know exactly what the translation there is. So he does get his ultimate like very fast. He doesn't really have anything that he can do on that side. You can see that they have the invasion arrow like through the unit, which is kind of cool. I think that's a really neat little effect. And then he actually has it so Deanne is going to soak up that Tarmiel ult reduction first turn, which is very smart, honestly, for the team. He uses the ult, and it doesn't do a whole lot of damage, really. He goes ahead and gets the one Escanor's ultimate just to kind of get something actually out for damage, but you can see he uses the ult here, and it deals you know, very minimal damage, which he does have an ult reduction stance up with Tarmiel, so that definitely has a little bit of a factor that goes into it. But after reading the skill translations a little bit, I think I kind of understand why, and I'm not I'm not really a big fan of it. But that's literally like the entire showcase. They don't go over anything else after that one game. They're pretty much done. Another thing to note is that Hauser and Gowther are going to be on the same banner. There's a couple of extra characters and everything like that, but the big thing here is that they're basically it's really weird. I'm not sure. I think a lot of people are not gonna like this, and I think that they're going about it in the wrong way. But basically what they're doing, they have a dev note that goes over it a little bit, but in the whole thing, the basic gist of it is they're going to be removing the extra festival characters from festival banners, so it's only going to be the new characters on the banner. They're going to increase the rates, or they're going to double the rates for them. So instead of the new characters being a 0.25% chance, like all the other characters on the banner are normally, it's still going to be a 4% banner, but the new characters are going to be a 0.5%, which is still not a whole lot, but it's at least a 1% chance to pull a new character, or a featured character for the banner, which is okay. But the fact that they're pulling out all of the other festival characters is very bad, because obviously there's not a whole lot of like regular characters in the game that are actually worth pulling. A lot of people summon on festival banners to pull festival units, but their plan here is that they're basically going to make it to where on the part 1, 2, and 3 banners that are already going on in the game, they're basically going to do a monthly rotation sort of system where like this is all, I guess, like rough idea at the moment. I'm not sure if they're even implementing this in just yet, but I think that Gowther's banner is not going to have extra festival units on it for sure at this point, because they've already released the banner details for it. But basically, at the beginning of each month, they're going to have festival units on the part 1, 2, and 3 banners, I think, and so you can have a chance to pull those characters just any time, basically. Not really any time, but like at the beginning of each month. In the middle of the month, they're going to add seasonal characters to the banner, and then at the end of the month, they're going to add 7 catastrophe characters to the banner. So you can sort of try and pull more like exclusive characters, I guess, throughout a monthly like rotation. That way, if you really want to, you can just summon on a banner that has those kind of characters on it, which I think is a good idea in theory, but they really just didn't need to remove the characters from the actual festival banners themselves, because that's just going to make it to where, like, if I'm summoning for Gowther and I'm just pulling a bunch of crap units that aren't worth anything, it's just going to give me even worse of a time when I could be having a chance to pull, you know, the one Escanor, or, you know, Festival Merlin, or some of these other really good festival units. Like, those are at least like a silver lining with not pulling the new character, whereas now it doesn't seem like I'm going to be able to do that. So that is definitely the biggest downside for sure. Like, obviously, if there's no extra festival characters on the new festival banners, then you don't have any chance to pull them on those banners, which is kind of the whole point of a festival. But I don't know. I think this idea is interesting. We'll kind of have to just see how it pans out. Obviously, I don't think the community is going to really like this a lot, and we'll probably see a lot of backlash on this, and we could end up seeing them changing this up a little bit. I don't know. We'll just have to see how it pans out at the moment. But I don't know. I like the idea of it, but I don't like the fact that they're removing festival characters from the regular like festival banners. That's just a really dumb idea. I don't really know why they're trying to do that. They're also gonna make it to where the festival coin shop exchange stuff, where like normally during a festival you can exchange 3 coins or 3 festival coins for one of the previous festival characters. They're basically gonna have that running 24/7 now, so that way, I guess at the beginning of each month when festival characters are available on those other banners, if you pull dupes of characters that you don't want, you're not going to have to wait for a festival to come around for you to actually exchange those in the coin shop. So it's really interesting. I don't know how it's going to play out. I don't think it's going to be all that great, to be honest. Like, it's an interesting idea, but I think it's kind of poor execution. The banner, like the patch notes and everything like that, are out. They are adding the new chapter for story mode, which is good. The new Gowther and Hauser are going to be on the same banner. Obviously, he's getting outfits. They are doing sort of like a free banner thing, which is really, really interesting. Basically, it's like 40 million download tickets, and for each mileage that you reach, it goes all the way up to 300 mileage. Each mileage milestone that you hit, you can choose between one of the 3 characters, which is really interesting. So once you hit the 100 mileage, you can basically get either red Derriere, red Awakened Lilia, or green Zaratros, which is not the greatest. I think if I was going to pull any of these, I already have Derriere 6/6, and Lilia is kind of trash, so I would probably get Zaratros for me. And then at 200 mileage, you can pull Liz, which is pretty decent because she's technically a festival unit. Red Easton, which is pretty good because I'm pretty sure I don't think she's necessarily a festival unit, but she is a 7 catastrophes unit, so she doesn't really come around all that often. And she's pretty good for the Bonn team, so I think this is a pretty decent pick if you don't have her. And then Green Deanne, which is kind of an older unit. I think you may, if you've been playing the game for a while, you probably already have her, but if you don't, she's a pretty good unit as well. And then at 300 mileage, we actually have Ludociel, which is a really interesting pull if you want to try to max him out or if you need him. Green Mark II Valenti, which is pretty interesting because she's really not been out, or like not on a whole lot of banners since she got released. And then blue Lost Vein Meliodas, which was part of the Ragnarok Chapter 1 banner. So that's honestly pretty interesting as well. So you get to choose one of those 3, one of those 3, and one of those 3. And then those are just going to be free pulls. And then it looks like this is basically the lineup for the actual banner itself. So when you summon on it, these are the characters that you can actually pull. So pretty interesting. I think this is a really cool idea, honestly. And it looks like it's going to be a 7% chance to pull characters or SSRs. The appearance rate of SSR characters has been increased to 7%. So that's honestly really, really great. This is green Escanor. I think this is red Demon Meliodas. It looks like these are the coin shop ones, actually. No, this is red Escanor. So these are the coin shop sins. Snatch Rogue Bonn. I think that's the green Bonn, the coin shop one. Princess Elizabeth, I'm not sure exactly which one that it is. Hopefully it's the green one because she's actually pretty decent for the bird. And then it looks like red Roxy, green Shin, Camilla, and then for some reason Melascula, Droll, and Estarossa of Charity, which I think these are the not great ones. Maybe if this is blue Droll, that's actually not terrible, and red Melascula isn't that bad. But if this is actually if they're coin shop units, this actually might be the better of the Estarossas. So I don't know. Interesting banner. It is going to be free stuff, so I mean, I can't really complain too much there. And then that's pretty much it, besides like a bunch of the events and stuff. I think Croc Shell is coming back, which is an interesting fight. He's kind of annoying, but it is what it is. But then the actual banner itself is going to have a 900 mileage like always. There's going to be tickets and everything like that. They're going to give out 10 tickets for some special missions and everything, and you can see that Hijack Gowther and the new Hauser unit are the only 2 featured units on here. There's no other festival units on the banner, so I really don't know how to feel. It's really looking like it's not worth summoning on, to be honest, because the new Gowther seems okay. But he doesn't seem like super groundbreaking, to be honest. I guess we'll go ahead and go over that because there's not really anything else for me to look at. But obviously this is not like the greatest translations you've ever seen, but I think you can glean enough out of the information here to sort of get an idea of how the unit works. So each time an ally uses a skill, and I think it's all allies, attack related stats increase by 2%. And the maximum HP is increased by 1%, and this stacks up to 10 times. And then it's only available or only active when participating in battle. So he has to be on the field for this to work. Those seem like very minimal increases, to be honest. So I'm not really sure how that's going to work. But it is each time an ally uses a skill. But with him being a festival unit, using 10 skills and him being a green unit. And he's sort of, I don't know, I'm not really sure how that's going to work out. These seem like pretty low modifiers for him to be like a festival unit. I kind of would have imagined they would have did higher numbers with a lower count, but I don't know. We'll have to see how that kind of pans out. This is his first attack skill, not the debuff skill, so it is deals 450% of attack power. It actually deals crushing damage. to a single enemy, and if your ultimate gauge is 4 or more, reduces the enemy's ultimate gauge by 1, which is kind of interesting. And then crushing damage is actually per ultimate gauge, it does 20% additional damage. So kind of like detonate, but it's your own ultimate gauge, which is kind of interesting. I don't think we have a unit that has that, so kind of cool, I guess. The debuff skill only debuff skills of all enemies during 2 turns. I think it's disables debuff skills of all enemies for 2 turns, and make it available and disable death blow. So it disables ultimate attacks. Disable rank 2 or higher skills. Rank down the skill at the end of the enemy's turn. Okay, so I think that's what it was talking about with their, what I was talking about with the actual that buff or the debuff that has the down ranking stuff. So it looks like you won't be able to use rank 2 or higher skills with this, which this is at level 3, so I'm not sure what the lower levels of it are going to be like. But it looks like it'll rank down cards at the end of the enemy's turn, which is interesting. So if they merge or try to like hold on to cards and stuff like that, they basically won't be able to, because at the end of their turn it's going to get lowered. So kind of interesting. The Arrow of Blackout is the ultimate, and this is the one that I'm not happy about, because it deals 8% of HP to all enemies. 8% is insanely low for a 1/6 ult, and then it removes 2 skills among all skills of the enemy. So it basically has delete. I think it's Red Monspeet has delete as a skill, or basically it'll just delete a random card out of your hand or whatever. But this one is deletes 2 skills out of your hand, and then if you have his ult completely maxed out, it deals 40% of the maximum HP, which is why in the live stream when they attacked using his ult, they really didn't do a whole lot of damage, because it was 40% of maximum HP to every unit, and then Tarmiel actually soaked up some of that damage. And then it removes the entire enemy's hand if you have it 6/6, which is super pay to win. Like, that's ridiculous that instead of like deleting 2 cards, you go to deleting every card in their hand. Like, that's just absolutely ridiculous. Obviously it doesn't delete ults, but or actually it says deletes ult if there is no skill to delete. So yeah, I guess you're basically just going to destroy their entire hand either way, which it could be a good thing for them, honestly. Like, if they have a bad hand and you delete their hand and then you just draw into a whole bunch of merges and stuff like that, it could end up blowing up in your face. But it's really interesting, but at the same time, it's really, really crazy. I don't like how pay to win that is. It's really dumb. Going over Hauser really quickly, your allies have... I think it's if your allies have detonate skills, the damage is increased by 30%. So he's going to be super big for Bonn. He is technically the same kind of Hauser as the other ones, because he has the same ult as the red Hauser. But his attack skills are deal 450% of attack or of damage on a single enemy, and reduce the death rate by 3. I'm not really sure what death rate is. Maybe it's talking about the ultimate gauge. Reduce the ultimate gauge by 3, I would assume. Obviously, like I said, the translations here are not perfect. And then the other skill is 250% of attack power on all enemies, and it inflicts detonate. So this one does have detonate, which means that for each ultimate gauge, it does an additional 20% damage. So interesting. As long as he has decent stats, I mean, you're going to be able to run him and Bonn and potentially, you know, Excalibur Arthur together and everything, and you could end up getting really, really good damage out of Bonn here. So it looks like they're trying to basically make like a trifecta of meta, where there's going to be maybe some Festival Gowther teams, some Margaret teams, and some Bonn teams to sort of like all fight each other. I don't really know how it's going to turn out, because honestly, like I said, the Festival Gowther seems very, very interesting, but I'm not sure how good he's actually going to be until the actual like player base gets their hands on him and can actually do some testing. But I don't know. I'm pretty torn with this one. I like the unit. I think he looks really cool. The banner is obviously the worst part about it. unit. His ultimate is really dumb. I don't know why they keep making festival unit ultimates like more and more pay to win, and it's ridiculous. Like, festival units, I already have to go to 900 just to get a guaranteed copy of the character. Why are you going to try to make me do this banner 6 times over? It's just ridiculous. So I don't know. That's it from me. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. I did do a live stream, so if you want to be part of that next time, feel free to subscribe so that way you get notified in the future whenever I go live. That's pretty much it, though. I don't have anything else to go over, so thank you guys so much for watching. Feel free to subscribe for more content in the future, and I'll see you guys in the next one.